on my stream. And possibly like, oh, people are joining. Can you guys like talk a little bit on stream before I hit this at everyone and just like see if it works?
Okay.
Sure.
Everyone at once. I enabled the chat. People are joining. Can you guys like
Sorry, go
talk
ahead.
a little bit on stream before I hit
Go
this
ahead.
at everyone and just like see if it works?
Sure.
Okay.
I might have to leave early, but I'll try and be here for a bit.
Okay. I want to play music. I know Derpy doesn't, but I hate talking when in silence. I'm just gonna play like really quiet. Alright, and then I'm going to hit the add everyone button. Let's go. Stream is live, by the way.
Yes.
How do I enable the event? Or is it okay, start? Boom.
It should just start automatically.
It was a minute past, so I started it manually.
Yeah.
I feel bad for all the people who are going to get the ad. I don't have any control over that. I'm sorry. Can people join yet? Oh, wait, hold on. Edit channel, permissions, connect. Yes, there we go. Save. People join now? Oh.
Yes,
Right,
apparently.
cool. Cool. Is stream fine? Is it lagging at all, or? This is going to be very botched for those who are just listening to this, or those people who are going to be coming in. So bear with me, please. Am I too loud, too quiet?
No, you sound good to me.
You sound good, but the delay is kind of crazy.
Is it really? I turned off the delay, I swear.
You are just starting to edit the channel on the stream.
Really? Hold on, let me... I
Low
don't
latency
think I
mode
could
or something.
change it live,
Oh,
but...
that was it.
Oh, did you have to
It
refresh?
might just be the latency. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that might be it too. I'll probably wait for some more people to hop in. We do got people in the stream. Hello, people. I'll post the link to the question sheet too. Or actually, what do I normally say in here? Okay, just does anyone else have a problem with Discord, like not letting you do from person in the channel? Like I can't type that out in the search bar. It's not letting me. It happens every now and then. I'll just copy paste the pinned message. Hello.
Isn't it pinned?
Yeah, it's pinned, but oh. Ooh, I lagged up for a second. I think. Yeah. I will post that in the channel anyways. And give it another few minutes here. But yeah, this is gonna be probably a shorter chat, especially because we have less people to talk here today, and I'm not as much of a chatty person as Derpy is for these things. Sometimes, but just briefly. Oh, well, thank you. Alright. Well, hello. I am Saugia. I'm taking over for Amazonite today. We're doing our dev campfire chat number, I think, 13. So this is the first one after a full year. And like I said, this is probably going to be a shorter one today. We do have a few questions. If you want to ask more, please do so. Either if you aren't in the Discord, you can ask them in the Twitch chat. I have that open on my other monitor. Or you can ask them through the link I posted in the campfire chat room. Or we can grab questions from the chat itself every now and then. And let's see. Where do we want to start? We can start talking about this update, what we're looking at. There's actually a couple of good content merges so far and a couple of good code merges so far. So
Sure. Let's start with that.
Yeah, before we start, is there anything you guys want to say? Or you think is important to bring up? Don't all talk at once. Okay. Let's see. So, let's see what we were talking about last time. I think
I sent you the list.
Yeah, I know you sent me the list. I'm trying to like lead into it. Last time we talked about getting starts on other parts of the vanilla game, like other parts of campaign content. There's actually some questions on that, so I'll actually wait for that. But I'll start by saying one of the things I merged recently, and then Taiba or Peter can talk about some code things that are pretty interesting. There's a new alien species that got merged into Continuous a couple weeks ago. They're called the, and I'm not going to butcher it this time, Incapias, right?
Right.
A small little alien species above high space, and they're I don't know if I want to say too much about them. I think it'd be more interesting for people to figure it out, but just a few short missions, little introduction. You can, I guess I'll spoiler this. You can buy some of their tech, so people are like, they're jumping and like, oh my god, another faction, but we can't do anything with them. You can get some things from them, but they are low tier, so yeah, that should be fun to have in this next update. So
There's also the Corbation missions.
yes, the first Gegno mission series, quote series, because technically half of it's like passive, is also merged into Continuous, so expect that next update as well. So a couple more Gegno interactions for you to have. You can land somewhere finally, but you can't use the outfitter yet. Sorry. Soon. Yeah. Let's see.
On the code side of things,
Yeah.
we got a hold fire command, so you can now just make your escorts not massacre everything in the system.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking for
And
that.
yours, yeah,
You can finally tell them to
You're
stop
so-
shooting.
yeah. It's more difficult than it sounds.
At least it's there as an option. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
We also fixed some stuff with formation flying and
Mhm.
added even more capabilities. You know, we have really fancy formations now,
Mhm.
and ships like don't even have to correct any of their positions, or rarely, unless you are really maneuvering.
Yeah,
So
they were
that's really nice.
they turned around quite a lot in the previous PR, but that got adjusted a little bit, and yep, there's more. Peter, if you have anything else to say about
And
those.
yeah, and we also added some nice quality of life things, like when you run out of energy, you can now ask to like ask an escort or some friendship to recharge your batteries, and so you don't get stranded if you don't have any kind of like power generators, or maybe if you only have like solar power and the star is really far away, then it's no longer an issue.
Yeah, and I figured that out through a cheat plugin. I was testing stuff for a PR, and I was in a coalition ship, and I didn't realize that some of them only have solar panels. So, in a system that didn't have a star defined, I just ran out of energy. Now that's probably not going to happen in vanilla, but if you do run out of energy because you're maybe like really far away from a star, or you just only have batteries, then yeah, now you can ask for help.
I remember that like in ancient times, man, we had those like like bird ships that we could cap in the Remnant campaign, like before we had the treasure and all of the new stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like I would just have like a Bactrian that was full of bunks everywhere, and like the smallest coalition engines you could put there, and only like supercapacitor or some small solar panel as a
Yeah.
energy change.
Like the most min-max you can get, and then like I'm pretty sure you had to like figure out how long your ship's gonna be flying, like timing. Like I have 5 minutes to capture this ship, or else I'm stuck and I have to reload my game.
Yeah, you could only afford to maneuver to one ship.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You don't need to do that anymore, but
Yeah.
just in case there is some plugin that enables that experience, it should be a lot more convenient now.
I mean, at this point, no one's even using the backchain to do it anyways. Some people are still doing it, but yeah. Those are, I think, most of the big items. I'm going to repost the link box for us just in case people are still coming in, but I can also still go through the chat. Add hyperspace ramming when. Says this person in chat. I can't read that name, sorry. Technically, with hyperspace ramming, that just reminded me, you can still get disabled like while you're jumping and just blow up if you get hit by something hard enough.
Yes.
I remember that would happen to me.
Rather annoying.
Yeah, all the time in Escape Velocity is if you're like trying to capture no, you're in like a small ship, you try and board a bigger one, you try and steal like valuables off of it, and you get lucky, you get them, and you have like half your health left, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna jump away now, and then something else jumps in right when you're jumping away, and you get hit by a missile or something, and just die mid hyper jump. Yeah. You know. The fun things.
I think this happened quite a lot to me when like you were fighting against ships that have jump drives.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anything that has like that knockback, like hit force, then they get disabled just as they are jumping away. And it's just
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is people are always asking like, how do we disable Korath Palavrits, because they jump when they're like, then the shields go down, and yeah, you need that hit force, or you need enough ion cannons to disable it so it can't do that.
Yeah.
Or overheat it, you know.
Though ion cannons, like you don't need energy to hyper jump, I don't think.
Yeah, but at some point, actually, now that you mention it, because technically, if when you shoot something and it runs out of energy, well, okay, here, if it can stop, yes. But if something's out of energy and can't correct itself to stop to jump, it probably can't jump. 'Cause if you have like any sort of like knockback with ion cannons, then and I think those might have a tiny bit. I don't remember off the top of my head, but if it can't stop to jump, it won't. If it's out of energy. Yeah. Got a few more questions. I'm assuming.
I think we can get started on those.
Yeah. I was gonna say we're probably not getting a whole lot more because I'm assuming some people are like expecting Derpy stream to go live. Like, hey, where's this guy? I can't really do anything about that. Oh, doesn't Derpy also stream in YouTube? Or does that?
No,
is that a
that
bot?
gets uploaded later.
Okay. Okay, I don't have.
That's just a VOD.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he might like just upload his streams on there, but he doesn't stream live.
Okay. I remember in the past he did both at the same time, and YouTube was just having problems. So. Okay. I guess we can start with the questions now. And the first one is relevant to that. With DerpyCon, what's everyone doing while the cat's away? I've been merging alien factions without him looking. Anyone else?
I've been doing pretty much the same things,
Mhm.
I suppose.
This is your time to say all the stuff we're doing without Derpy. Like this is like our confession booth now. Oh, that guy's having problems with the ping again in the Discord. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know how to disable that entirely or why it's not. Yeah.
That's Discord's problem at this point. Like, if you hide the channel and it's all notifications are off, it shouldn't come across. Like, I don't know why Discord can't implement something as simple as this. Like, notification settings, nothing. Like, no notifications, just like, community servers have some pretty serious drawbacks. At least they did last time when we looked at it. And Discord has been getting just worse, so
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be any better.
Yeah. Rhodes says she's gonna be busy for most of August. I think that's gonna be most people. It's not just you. I think some other reviewers were saying they'd be kind of out for either August or right after August. So yeah, we're kind of going through the summer right now. We got a good chunk of content in. We're still have a good chunk being reviewed right now. Content code, what have you. Alright. Next question is, how is the current Wanderer outline... Oh, I think I disconnected for a second, did I?
Yes.
Okay. That was weird. My Discord just showed all yellow notifications on everyone's avatar, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. So the question was, how is the current Wanderer outline came to be derived? How is it created? So part of it was made prior to, because I know this is referring to the outline that is in a project channel on the Discord now, which if you don't know exists now. It didn't exist a month ago. So at first it was a long time ago. There was a couple people in the community who kind of got together, and Marksman kind of set up a little server to just kind of throw ideas around for Wanderer's outline. And the other day, the devs, we were on a channel, or sorry, it wasn't even just us. We were talking to some of the core members, and we were saying how we want to get to Wanderers Part 3 sooner than later, because technically getting that resolved first before adding a whole bunch more new content, like beginning of new content to the game, is more important. So one of the other weekends ago, we sat down and tried to, or not tried to, but we did kind of start having a back and forth with the devs and the core members, and we did have some people on the channel talking as well about how all that was going to be set up, because MZ, the original developer, did have a plan for Wanderers, but the only thing I believe he left us with was that they were going to split up into two groups, the Tele-Ekites and the Rekites. And that was what the Winter Gale and what was the other one in the game right now? Summer Leaf? Or is that already? I think it might be a different ship. But
Cool Breeze is the
Cool
other one.
Breeze, yeah, sorry. So that's what those were, and we kind of picked back up on that idea. That's another thing that MZ kind of like ran into a wall with. So we're kind of thinking like, how do we get the chorus back involved? How do we represent these two splits without it just being another, you know, good and bad faction sides of a faction? So we sat down and talked about it for a while until we came around an idea that we all kind of agreed upon and posted in that channel. So we're working it with that. Yep, and then tied a link to the channel below. Got to scroll down a little bit and Wanderer/Wanderer-dev.
It's pinned and I posted the link. I think that's the right outline, but
I believe so, yes.
there are two of them.
Nope, that's the right one, I think. Yep. Had to scroll down. Just looking in chat. I gotta disable this so I can see people's names. Recursive Paradox says, meaning absolutely no disrespect or in no way diminishing our devs' contributions, it seems progress in Republic and Syndicate lines has stagnated, while at the same time other core story developers appear to be stymied. I've actually never seen that word in life on the Git. This is a systematic issue. Are there any plans to deal with this for further benefit of the whole community? Some of the long-term fans are feeling as if we are in a rut. Yes, that is actually... Okay, so it looks like they submitted that as a question, or I'm assuming someone did. We could... I'll answer this now. I don't know if this person is in the stream chat or they can hear us, or if they're in this channel here, but so that is something that we've been talking about recently again. It's with what I was saying earlier with the Wanderer campaign. Part 3 is we do want to start working on core story content again, and that's we do have a like little bit of a lead on that with the Wanderers Part 3, and we did we're kind of working together to, and I will say this, get the very bare bones of a Republic campaign worked up, outlined for one. And I know it's been said many times, but I also know Derpy has a Syndicate branch somewhere stashed in his branches. So it's not that there isn't any work on it, but I see that like the concern that there is no like progress on it, I do understand. And now that we have 3 more devs and they've been doing a ton of good work, I think we're at a point where we can work both on new content and get the main campaign going again. Now, it will take another minute to like actually get that process going, to get the wheel turning again. But we do want to do that. So there is another question here asking about the Wanderers Part 3 like timeline. So I will answer that later and then kind of have that trail into what we're looking at for a timeline, which either way is going to be very rough. We can't like it has been like 8-9 years, I understand that, and I also want to like kick things into gear and actually get some work on that stuff, but we gotta hit the start button eventually and do it somehow. So I can't say if we're doing that tomorrow.
One of the main reasons
Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, just to like round things up. So like one of the main reasons is that like the Navy campaign seems to be stalling is because development isn't really happening in this server or on GitHub, but like it has its own like
Yeah.
dedicated server, and then there is other stuff in even other places that's been developed.
Yeah, so
But,
the Navy campaign has had its own server, and well, I mean that's a good thing too. It's okay to have like your own server for things, but at the same time, it's like it takes a second to kind of bridge that server with the information we're working with, and to have it in front of us, and we're doing it that way. But all it takes is just getting an actual step into it, and finding the time to do that over the years seems to have been a problem. But now that we have more people to work with us, I think it's possible we can actually start working on things within the next year. I know that sounds like a long time. Within the next year could be, it's not going to be tomorrow, I'm going to say that. But I personally would like to see Wanderers Part 3, I guess this kind of answers another question. Wanderers Part 3, at least missions PR'd and open by the end of the year, if not in the game by the end of the year. And next year, some sort of start on one of the other campaigns. And when I say that, I mean like, period. I mean like, I'm going to kick people's butts until they do it. No, no, I won't do that. But
well,
we want everyone to be present for it too, right? Because like right now, some of us, like Roadrunner said she's going to be kind of out for August, and right now Derpy's kind of, I don't think he's taking his hiatus right now, but he's kind of busy on the back end of things. So in the end, it's just if we're all kind of available to work on such a big campaign continuation, which up until now, like we didn't have the greatest way to communicate with each other. Like we only started doing these dev chats like last year, and having project rooms for this sort of thing, and just kind of throwing ideas out. So having the Wanderers channel is I think it's huge. People will look at that and they'll be like, is there a chance of that happening? And it's like, well, us having a channel for that and an outline for it, that hasn't happened in 8 years. So TLDR, are there any plans to deal with this to benefit the community? Yes. Are there any specific plans or any plans like any dates I can give you? Not at the moment, if you're listening to this recursive. And then
the plan was to get it out by end of last year, the Navy campaign.
Yeah, well, and there I go again. I remember Mike, who is one of the people working on it, did say he wanted to get some sort of outline or missions out for it last year, but I believe he ran into some difficulties with that as well. So we're doing our best. You're in the chat? Okay. Hold on. Where's the question? If they don't, I can TLDR it to them in the text chat if they need to.
Yeah.
Oh.
Will be available after the stream on Twitch, and it will also be uploaded on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you missed it,
Yeah, I think I just dropped again. Is the stream still up?
It is.
Is my voice lagging on it? And now that we
I don't know. I have it muted.
Okay, I hope not. Not much of an answer. What kind of answer are you looking for? I don't know if I can't give you like a specific date or anything, especially with not all the devs being here. Unless you're talking about Roadrunner's answer. Yeah. That's the whole point of getting the 2 other parts of the campaign done. It's not the time. It's not that we aren't focusing on it. It's that there's nothing PR'd for it right now, and gathering all the resources and actually writing out every single mission and getting it into continuous, like, because we wouldn't merge one mission at a time per patch and then just have that cut off and then do a stable release and then cut it off again. So it is pretty big of an effort to do, but if there is PRs open for it, we would focus it, and it's just a matter of getting them out there, and we are working on doing that, on having that with like the outlines and whatnot. But first and foremost, though, I believe Wanderers Part 3 comes before starting any of the either two main campaigns, and we already have progress on that. Because we're not going to start the beginning and all the way to the end of two other big campaign sections when the current one isn't even done. That's not to say Wanderers is tied straight to Syndicate or Republic campaign, but it's better that we finish what we haven't finished yet before we start something and try and finish that at the same time. It's closer to existing, yeah. It's not that it's a higher priority per se. It's something we can wrap up. The internal process, sometimes we look at the Git and Discord notes things that do not seem productive.
Well, it's not on GitHub yet, so
Yeah.
it really isn't productive because there is no product yet, I suppose. So, like, it's huge. Like, look at how big the Free Worlds campaign is. Like, putting together like a comprehensive PR for the Free Worlds would take absolute ages.
Yeah.
So if we want a Navy and a Syndicate campaign of the same size, which we do want, then
It's
but
like,
it's not going to be easy.
if
We can't just do it in small parts.
If we're going to do it, this is something we've said for past content too. So like past, for anything that would require putting a whole new campaign or a whole new, just like big mission series like that in the game, it's not just making an intro PR and then starting it and building it from there. It would be making PRs for the entire campaign and having them all on GitHub and all reviewed, and then merging them all together. We wouldn't do it piece and piece at a time. We would set aside time to do this, probably for like a whole update, and we just haven't had that luxury to do that yet, at least lately. I've only been here like a couple years, but so I can't speak for 8 years ago, and because things have changed so much from 8 years ago, we've had so much more progress. We have so much faster updates, more PRs getting merged. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? I understand that people have been waiting for so long, but at the same time, what was happening back then is not the same thing as what's happening now. So we're trying to work with how things have changed, and eventually we will get to it. Like it's not that we're avoiding it or we don't want to do it, but at the same time we can't just promise that next update we're going to start work on the campaign. We actually have to prepare for that, set things up, which is what we do with PRs right now as is, and that already takes a decent amount of time too. So for something like a big main campaign portion, that's going to take quite an amount of time to set up. If you want things to go big faster, review PRs, I'd say. Well, that too, like just reviewing in general. And yes, and that helps us. So, Benny was interested in writing the Syndicate campaign. Yeah, that's another thing. As Benny was saying, or showed some interest in kind of working on some parts for that too.
Yeah, so I just checked, and the Free Worlds campaign is about 14,000 lines.
Yeah.
Like that takes a minute to write. And like you have to have the whole thing more or less done before we can say that it actually works.
Yeah.
Like we need the general concept to be there first, then we can look at that, and then we need it fleshed out to see that it actually works, and then we could maybe split it up into parts and polish them, but most of the thing has to be there, otherwise it just ends up like the Wanderer campaign or everything else that just in its weird, partially implemented state.
Yeah, some of
and
the
it could be
larger
unplayable as an alternative.
Some of the larger content PRs, like more often than not, are around 4K lines, and then an alien species that might be like 6 or 7K, which I think the NKP was only around 4K anyways, or 5K. It might have been a little bit more than that, but 3 times that or 4 times that and these alien species PRs take years to review and years to set up, and I'm not. That's not to say it'll take years upon years again to start and get into the main campaigns, but it certainly won't be something that if we suddenly decide, oh, we want to work on the Republic campaign now, that we set everything aside we're doing right now, and then for the next half a year work specifically on that. That can also lead to burnout or other things like that. But there are people. It's okay. People have IRL, but they're developing other things that seem to face an inordinate amount of resistance. What do you mean? Also Ziproot. I think Ziproot linked. He linked someone else's idea for a syndicate story. In the past, I think it was kind of thrown around. Some of the things in that branch might be workable, and I know some things don't really fit with the possible intentions of the syndicate campaign. The thing with the syndicate campaign, and I know Derpy wants to be pretty involved in that because he has a lot of ideas of what the syndicate should be and how they should interact with other factions. As for the Republic campaign, we were talking about that with kind of like Mike, but I know we've kind of been collecting information on that as well. So 2 years in your case, yeah. Yeah, isn't Derpy going on hiatus? I actually don't know like what the specifics on that are, but if he does, I would imagine. Well, for one, I feel like he probably deserves it because he's been around for a long time, and him taking a little bit of break from the game is pretty deserved. And I would imagine when he comes back that he'd start cranking out a whole bunch of content anyways. So, but I don't know when he would do it or if he's already on it. But yeah. Azure says, I'll be honest and let Derpy go. Other people go forward with their ideas. I don't think it's that Derpy's not letting people do that, but that he wants to be part of the process, and I mean that's all the power to him because he is our lead developer and does a majority of the content with the main campaign and probably knows more about it than anybody else. So, but yeah, it's more of a question for him. I don't want to speak for him while he's not here. But
also, if you look at like other campaigns that are being developed on GitHub, like there's the Unfettered campaign, and that's been actively worked on for 3 years.
Yeah.
Just on GitHub. It's after the PR was opened, and I think it basically doubled in size since it was opened. I don't actually find the first version of it anywhere, but like it was at 10,000 lines when it opened. I'm pretty sure about that.
The road says, didn't Derpy say people can write it without him? I believe he did. And that's kind of what I was saying. It's not like you're not. People can still write and PR content for the game. It's just a matter of people, others being present to review it and work with it. So that's kind of that's the difference, right? Is opening it onto our GitHub as a PR is different than the time it takes to review it when it already exists on GitHub. So that's kind of what we have to work with. And then, yeah, the Unfettered campaign has been on for a while. I know Hurl recently split it up a little bit more, which will help reviewing it. I did want to, I guess while we're talking about this, I did want to look at the rest of High Legacy this weekend and try and get that in. And if not this weekend, next weekend. I know I said that last weekend too, but I did work on it yesterday or the day before you saw. It's almost done. Someone just submitted, how is High Legacy coming along? Yeah. And then I know Road wants to eventually look at or have all of us look at the Unfettered PR, the intro to their campaign. And that kind of, that's the thing, is that kind of thing can be done on the side with working with other larger content. So, we're still adding a lot of new things to the game, and I think at some point we have to consider when do we continue to add new things, and when do we shift our entire focus on something like the main campaign, and do we have the ability to do both? So yeah, Dary says
Certainly.
10.9 is gonna be juicy release. Yeah, there's a lot of big stuff coming in. Yeah.
Successors, anyone?
Successors, yeah, they were finally PR'd. They were plugin faction. I might look at them for this update too. Who knows? So next question, because that was a lot of talking for that one. What's the core members and what does everybody do? So core members are, I'll just say this as a comparison. Core members are a little bit different than say reviewers on GitHub. Core members are those in the community on Discord, specifically Discord, who have been around for some time and engage pretty actively with a lot of discussions and just kind of are net positive to the community. And they're generally voted on and recommended by other core members to be promoted to one. So they're like, I'm not sure there's much else to say besides like they are core members. They're just core members of the community, a core part of the community. What does everybody do though? It's not so much what they do as kind of them. Well, I guess what they do is they engage a lot in discussion. A lot of them are pretty active on GitHub as well. They go an extra mile to get involved with the actual development of the game. So, and that's not to say other people don't, but it's kind of like a Discord recognition sort of thing. If there's anything else that I'm missing, let me know.
They don't hold any like special powers or anything. It's really just it was recognition for it.
Yeah. Like the things on GitHub and such are different than Discord. Yeah, and then Leaf says this is too. Most of them are established contributors or plugin authors or have a deeper knowledge of the game. Yeah, that's a big one. Is core members have a lot of knowledge of the game and how it works, and yeah, have been playing for a decent amount of time, or either a decent amount of time or have been involved a lot recently, things like that. Not that you know a lot about the game, Leaf. You know more code than I ever will. What's balance? That's when the missile does not blow up the ship in one shot. We don't talk about rockets.
But it depends on the missile, I suppose.
Yeah. So, and then the next question is kind of what we just got asked. When will the Navy campaign outline be posted to Republic campaign dev? We've been kind of collecting some thoughts on that, and I do want us to reach out to others who've been writing on it, or just kind of have a chat about it and get some sort of, again, like ball rolling on that. But
don't we have like 2 working outlines at the moment?
Yeah,
or do they use the same thing?
I think there's an outline. There's obviously an outline in their server, and then there's outlines that I think Road has been gathering. I think they might be similar, but yeah, I can't. It's one of those like you can't put a date on that sort of thing. It's just when things shift to be that way, and when all of us are kind of available to progress on that. And again, that's one of those. People can write for the outline or come up with ideas and do it, but us setting aside time to review those or give input is another story. So when will it be posted to there? Hopefully soon. I know it's not the greatest answer, but sooner than 8 years. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks here, maybe months. And then the next question, I'm kind of going through reading all the questions. I know usually me and Derpy take turns, but I'm just kind of plowing through them. Is there a real chance of the Wander campaign ever being finished? And if so, is there an extremely rough estimate of when? No rush, but curious. And this is what I was saying earlier, is now that we have an outline and have kind of discussion going around that in that channel, personally, again, I don't want to speak for everybody because not everybody's here, I would like to get that finished by the end of the year. But that would require us getting some PRs going in, and we got to figure out how we're going to do that yet. So I imagine I'd try and grab the other devs or maybe on GitHub, try and get people together to start actually opening PRs or work on missions for that eventually. This one is going to be part 4 now. Did I say 4? I meant 3. And this is the comment from earlier. All the questions now are from like today, just a couple minutes or like within the last hour. Just passing by to say how much I enjoy on the sky and wishing everyone the best. Smile from I'm gonna say this wrong. Algagian or Algayan. Thank you. We appreciate it. And then next question says, why is Campfire at 2 in the morning? You're on the wrong side of the world, that's why. Sorry. Have you tried?
I think the original plan was to like keep changing the timing every time so we could reach different people. But then no one had time. Like none of the devs were available, so
yeah,
this ended up being the fixed time.
Half the devs are a lot of us are in the Eastern time zone, and then a good portion of us are I think not GMT. I know like a lot of us are in Europe too, or on that side of things. European land, yeah.
Like GMT +2, I think, and we also have a couple just GMTs, I think.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard for all of us to get together, and like there will be a few of us at any given time, but for setting up streams and stuff like that, this is usually the time that works for the most of us. That's why we do the VODs and stuff. Just change your clock. Just turn the, if you still have analog clocks, turn the hand until it's now time. I don't know. Nah. Okay. Question after that is, out of all the project channels,
And you cut out again.
The question is disconnection. Out of all the project channels, which one is probably the most fleshed out so far, or is the highest priority? Well, this is kind of what Ro was saying in chat just now. Is priority doesn't necessarily mean like we're gonna focus on that and then nothing else. It's just kind of like what the devs are gonna look at, and that's not gonna be what we solely look at. But in terms of project channels that are the most fleshed out,
I would almost say that they are ordered that way. Like the higher up ones are perhaps more fleshed out.
yeah.
Perhaps not Wanderer.
I think it's kind of hard to answer that with a strict answer, because project channels are there to kind of outline and kind of encourage discussion on it. But if there's already outlines and already discussions on things, then at that point it's a matter of when things start actually getting PR'd. And that could happen anytime. So if I just going through the project channels, technically Pirate Gameplay has the most stuff already being worked on. I was working on that myself separately, and I was trying to help get the ball rolling on that. So there's already stuff in the game for that, like the C Core, that's already part of the Pirate Gameplay project. There's some other PRs. I have another PR open for another one of Lake's factions. I know we want to start working on some expansions to the northern pirate area. I was hoping to talk to Lake with that eventually too. But so that one's probably got the most active progress in it, and then progress that's already in the game. On the next to that is the Quad revamp, which is something that I'm also trying to get the ball rolling, because that's something people have been asking for a long time as well. That one's kind of in purgatory. That like everything's kind of already set up there to get some start on it, but it's waiting on some sprites right now. And while we're jumping back and forth between these other projects, it's just kind of pending some things. So then Wanderer, that one we already have the outlines and some discussion. That one just kind of needs a little push for PRs again. And the Tangled Shroud just got recently opened to view. It should have been to start with. I don't know why it wasn't, or I don't know if it was supposed to. It's open now. But that is a lot of work between Azure and Dairy for soon-to-be factions in the south, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening there. If you haven't seen that yet, that one's probably probably has the most active discussion and also like PR stuff on GitHub. So that's they're both closing their stuff tomorrow, I guess. Never mind. Forget I said that. Dang, that guy really wanted the Avkian successors. Someone left. Yeah.
The successors are really fleshed out. The Avki will definitely need some more time.
Yeah.
I would say.
I think I was talking to Azure, and Azure said I could go ahead and review the successors ahead of the Avgi. I do still want to look at the Avgi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I looked at the successor planet descriptions and then just kind of been procrastinating on the rest.
Yeah.
It's a lot of content.
And then was there another project? Okay, no, not yet. Soon to be. And then this was the question about the main campaign and whatnot.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah. And then the next question with High Legacy, and I said, I'm gonna see if I can get a review on the rest of that tonight or tomorrow night. Will there be more project rooms? Probably. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, or anything that we would jump to making yet, but someday, yeah, probably. And then the last question in the sheet is maybe a Republic campaign room. Well, see, that's what the thing is we're kind of, like I said, we're collecting and talking to people about the outlines for that, and once we get all that situated, then yes. That's kind of the preference when it comes to opening new project rooms, is whatever the project room is for, hopefully has an outline and something that we're able to work with and discuss. Right now, the Republic campaign, a lot of stuff is already in their own servers, so technically I guess you could say it's over there right now, but I would like to have the channel here sooner than later so we can get the discussion on the main server too. And speaking of Republic, the last question on this sheet is, when can we buy the battleship? No. The modified battleship is Gefu's person ship. It was kind of something I threw in there. Gefu does quite a bit of the artwork of the game. He did a lot of the reworks. Most notably, he updated the graphics of the Navy ships. So a lot with what was kind of discussing in the Navy campaign, the battleship was probably one of the main ships of it. So, and he also obviously made that artwork. So that exists as a person ship right now. As for buying it in game, yeah, like Doom is saying here, Doom said there's we might possibly look at it being like part of the epilogue, but overall we want to keep free worlds similar for the three sides as playthroughs, and the Navy already have so many unique ships, like all their their carriers, cruisers, frigates, all of that stuff you already can't get anyways, and that's kind of what's supposed to be unique about their side, is obtaining those. So the battleship being this big beefy strong new ship for the Navy kind of makes more sense than in sort of an epilogue, like absolutely need it sort of thing. So maybe someday. Someone just sent in a thing that I don't want to answer. They're saying when will my personship be in the game, and my answer to that is it already is. Okay. I kid you not. When I made the roulette for the Gegno area, I had already considered that ship my personship. Even though it's not non-canon, it's actually part of the game's canon. I'm like Derpy. I don't really care if / when I get a personship. I'm not really focused on that. I was thinking of a meme that was like, what if it was a Dunite, those little duelist Gegno ships, and then it was really fast, and every time it hit a ship, it made the metal pipe sound. Bong. But no, I'm not really on the lookout for a personship. That's not really on my to-do list.
So tomorrow.
No. I did open a PR yesterday for Peter's personship, which was a long time coming. So he's had an idea for that for a while now. We chose to work with the Hauler Mark 6, except it's going to be modified because technically the Hauler 6 doesn't exist. Yeah, well, that's another thing, Road and Azure, is the whole infamous we aren't interested in new factions. That's something I've said in the past, and I agree that was kind of like a wrong thing to say. At the same time, back then there was like a whole bunch of things like grabbing all of our attentions, at least as developers. So I definitely, like, lately, and this is why I've started reviewing Incapias, and I want to get to Successors, and I want to get to Abgi, especially with the 3 new devs we have now, as I think we have a good team to be able to work on Alien Factions at the same time as taking a look at some of the bigger projects. So I think that the line that we aren't interested in them isn't really true anymore. It's more so, it's not so much that we're not interested in them, it's that it takes a minute to get to them, and setting aside time to review PRs like that. Because, for example, the Incapias PR, like Leaf said, was around for 2 years, and I didn't actually sit down and actually go through all of it like bit by bit until like a couple weeks ago, and I started doing streams on that every weekend. But I don't want to be like, I know we're not gonna do that, but doing that like straight for weeks, like, oh, new Alien Faction, oh, new Alien Faction, oh, new Alien Faction. But yeah. Well,
They are lower priority for reviewing and working on them, but they can still be there.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to get to a mission change or I guess for you code guys, a small new code mechanic than it is to open up an Alien PR and go through every single line of context and code, and not code, but I don't know, they might have code. Stuff like that, so. New Alien Faction, extinct tier 3 species that was forgotten, so there's no mention of them in the game. That's almost the relay. Almost. Well, the Korg rework added reactor. Oh, the question went by too fast. More powerful than the antimatter core. Oh yeah, Doom answered it. No, and we're probably gonna nerf that. Yeah, that's the thing with the Korg rework is, like I said earlier, it's kind of pending on sprites. And I see Todd's here. No, Todd was working on some sprites. If you do see in the Korg revamp, the War Dragon one's actually looking pretty good. I'd say once we get one for the Skylark, I'd like to actually get some PRs open on some of that stuff. But we do have plans for more ships beyond that. That said, though, for Korg like internals and weapons and things like that, right now they're placeholders, and they're actually stronger than they're supposed to be. Like the Skylance is definitely going to get knocked down a peg or two, and the antimatter core is just kind of busted. So I know Doom will probably have a good job or have fun balancing all that stuff when we get to it. But yeah. Yeah, speaking of the Alien Factions, Leaf said the Incapi has changed quite a bit over the waiting period where a lot of lore was shaped. That's another thing is, I know in the past I've said it'll take at least a year, and that's not necessarily true. Like, for example, Becca's, from what I remember back in the day before I was even here, his faction, the first non-MZ faction, got in after I think 3 months. But sometimes when alien factions kind of sit around for a little bit, it's actually helpful because their lore goes through a lot of changes, and just a lot of shaping of it and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Of 100 failed species, yeah. So 94 of those species we don't know, or something. Well, that's the end of the questions on the submitted sheet. So it's been about an hour. I did kind of assume this would be lasting a little bit, or it would be a little bit shorter than others because I don't. Oh. I wonder if I get connected. If I did get sent in Discord, does that happen on stream too? I wonder. But yeah, I'd say we'll go maybe like 30 more minutes or so here. I don't want to go too long because there's not a whole lot more to discuss. But so if there are questions, we can kind of look at those in chat now too. Unless any of you do any of you have anything to say besides Tybe, because he's been talking a lot too. Other people got to start talk.
Hi.
Hi. Good enough. How do species actually discover the hyperlanes?
By making the hyperdrive.
Kind of. I guess. Yeah. Whenever a species, I guess, gets a hyperdrive, that's when they're able to kind of, with the hyperdrive, understand the existence of a hyperlane and then be able to, quote, write it. Or that answer that is Charles Platt gets reincarnated in each species and builds his thingy with it. Yeah, Charles Platt. Everyone loves Charles Platt. What would cause them to invent a hyperdrive in the first place? What caused humans to invent a rocket ship in real life?
The Cold War for the most part, and World War II for early like rocket development.
Okay.
Even earlier, like
Get that war stuff out of here. It's for explorations, for knowing the beyond. I don't care about your war. No. Yeah.
That's just how humans work.
They couldn't know about hyperlanes without a hyperdrive. We didn't know anything about the solar system or how the Earth orbits the sun until we looked either. Bombing their English.
Yeah, so based on what Doom copy pasted from the game, like there are actually ways of detecting a hyper lane with like regular sensors before discovering a hyper drive. You just don't know that it's a hyper lane.
Yeah.
But like the phenomenon itself can be discovered. And then you create something that makes use of it, and it's all kinds of goodness.
Bringing peace with force. It seems like hyperlanes are fully independent of the hyperdrive itself. I think at some point there is kind of it's a game mechanic sort of thing. Because in lore, there are more stars, more hyperlanes, and more planets out there. But for game restrictions, we don't want to have... We're not sitting here doing a one-to-one of the universe or something like that. But, so, it's kind of a mix of that. It's a mix of... There's some kind of reasons you can think of in lore, and then the reason they exist is for gameplay. But yeah.
Yeah. And we don't actually know how many hyperlanes are like natural or created by the track or the bug.
Yeah.
we definitely know that the Pug have the technology to mess with hyperlanes, and
And so
it's
do the Drake.
strongly implied that the Drek or Quarg even have some kind of technology for managing those.
Yeah,
But
the
the
Drake
details
have the ability
aren't
to
clear.
sever them. The Korg presumably have like hypergate kind of connections through the ring worlds, but I don't know if they know how to like manipulate hyperlanes. I think it's more a Pug Drake thing, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Ask them, or I haven't asked them. Yeah, me neither. Every time I ask the Archon why, they give me a nuclear missile and tell me to go have fun. As a human. How long ago did Pug reach space? Like our space, like the Milky Way, or from their own planet into this space? Because both are kind of unknown. The Pug, I think, came to our galaxy a long time ago. It was before. I don't remember if it was before or after the Drek came into existence, though. From their own planet? Oh, who knows?
But the Wanderers have been here for a couple, like 10,000 years at
Yeah,
least,
tens of
more.
thousands or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Pug brought them there, so they were definitely here before us.
Yeah. It's just either we don't know or we don't know. Should we call the Pug and Archons both tier 5? I thought we did. I thought presumably the Pug can fight the Archons and then the Korg are just kind of angry about them or something. Wiki calls Archons tier 4.
We do know that
That's true.
do know that the Pug have at least two major technological branches that the Drek don't have, because they have intergalactic wormholes
Yeah.
and like the way they can twist space and break ring worlds.
Yeah.
We do know that neither of those are available to the Drek.
The Drek can manipulate hyperlanes, but the Drek, as far as we know, can't do anything with like wormholes. There's this whole idea
Technically,
sorry, hold on. There's this whole idea in I think MZ's document that they are in weft space or something like that. They're in like a dimension beyond our own, and when they die, they do kind of like teleport away. But I think that's a little bit different than like just straight up like summoning a wormhole or something.
Well, it could just be like their myth of an afterlife, for all I know.
Yeah, that could also be it. They could just be saying that. That's another. Yeah, MZ's doc isn't necessarily canon. I know there's some things we pull from it, but not everything from it is strictly canon.
Who are the people that supply Lunarium with information? Well, you. Like in the campaign, you definitely help them and give them information. They have a bunch of agents across the coalition space. Outside of that, I don't know. There are very few people with a jump drive who can go around and those transmissions. Well, I don't know. I haven't actually read what Araki wrote for the coalition campaign outline. I would assume that it's actually the Quark who are pulling the strings. But
I don't
yeah,
remember either.
there's still Quark around in the ring world. They can get there.
I thought Araki
I would expect that is the Quark who
said that wasn't true anymore. That there were Korg in the rings. Yeah,